Welcome, everybody, to what is this now? Episode 5 of the podcast. It is episode 5 of Gaming in a Podcast. And this week, he's not a truck. I don't even know if he's actually Scottish. He's Scooter. Welcome.
Hey, man. How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Are you having some trouble reversing there?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out so I can just get close by. There we go. So
there we go. Now we got the truck podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna be trucking this time, having a lot of fun. You have your is that your refrag shameless plug truck?
Shameless plug, other podcast. Yep.
And I got my American truck. So I guess just before we get too far into it, I guess we gotta find a mission to do, and then you tell us a little bit about yourself. Like who is Scooter? Who is he?
Yeah, man. Here, so we'll quickly. Do you want to do a long hauler, or do you want to do a bunch of short ones?
We can do a long one. We can just vibe.
All right, cool. Okay. All right, I got a nice 12-hour one up in California, bud.
Okay, we can do that. What are we hauling?
I think we're hauling a milling machine.
Interesting.
Now So while I drive there, in case you can't take this one, I will check. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Scooter, or Scott, either goes. I'm the chief of media for Parabellum. And I just control all the media. So if you mess up a video, then I'm gonna be on your ass.
He is the media.
Oh, I started already with the trailer. What?
How does
I
that
guess
work?
I wasn't allowed to take my own truck.
Did you just do like a quick job or something?
Oh, maybe I did.
Are you on the other lot? Oh, you're on the other lot.
Dude, this is how long we haven't played this game for. I just took a quick job. Like, what rookie mistakes?
How dare you? We gotta get back on this game some more.
I know, right? Dude, yeah, so what I was going to say before the podcast started, the second I set my wheel up and sat down, my brain instantly just goes, man, this game makes you tired. You're feeling tired about now.
Dude, it does, dude. You get to drive it and you're like, man, my eyes are sure droopy. I should be able to haul that.
Alright, cool.
Where do I do that at? I guess I should. Oh, I'm an idiot.
So see if you can take that one, because if you can't, then we'll figure something else out.
I can't. It says no detailed job available.
Okay, let me pitch this job.
Let me see mine. We'll do freight market.
Yeah, you pick one. I can do, I think, everything.
Tucson. Oh my god, that's 15 hours. No way. We got a 60. Oh my Jesus. Alright, we got a 14-hour one from Nogales, Arizona to Fresno.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
53,000 United States dollars. That's how you know it's good. But the shitty thing is that I have to drive to Nogales. It's only like an hour though, so if you want to follow me,
I will indeed. Alright. Let's kick it into drive.
Oh my Jesus. Yeah, so this driving thing has been pretty fun. So I guess before we bore people in the podcast, just so you do media, and you do it through you're technically employed by Amuka, but you do all the stuff for Parabellum. So is there other stuff that you do with Amuka, or is it just?
So I mean, mostly it's when we do like sponsorships and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going that way?
Yeah, we're going this way.
Okay. Yeah, so mostly when it comes to like sponsorships, any videos you see that Amuka does for sponsorships, I'll usually be behind that. Usually only on the editing side, and then with Parabellum I have full creative control over the socials. Now I don't know, one thing that has been mixed up a lot, and even some of our players believe this, I am not the social media manager.
No.
But I do have the content creation of that.
So you're the one posting clips and other stuff.
Yeah, so I will pick the clips for a lot of it, or I will create like the highlights that go on Twitter, but they are always sent up over to whoever our social media manager is at the time.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get involved with Amuka? Like, I know you became friends with Llama, but just like explain, how did you get into Amuka and Parabellum and stuff?
So it goes kind of far back. So as of like 3 years ago, for those of you who don't know, I used to play CS quite a bit. Played in a lot of Toronto locals and stuff, and Waves Gaming happened to be one of the locals that I decided to play in. And I got to meet the lovely people over there. Got to meet Chris through them, and when I started casting there, I got to meet Chris. Chris asked me to cast some of their CS:GO and their Valorant. And so Chris and I had knew each other, but only had ever spoke like once. And come, a couple more casts here and there, I had mentioned that I was a video editor, and Chris reached out to me to do some Northern Shield stuff, like OG Northern Shield stuff.
Yeah.
And so
back in the day,
you and I,
like
both you and I.
Are you talking about? Was this for the Academy thing?
Yeah. So for the Academy, yeah. But yeah, both you and I did stuff for that, and that's kind of how I got to know Chris. They liked how quickly I got videos done, how quickly and well edited they were, and so Chris had asked me to do some stuff with Parabellum, and at that point, Parabellum videos were getting more and more, and obviously, you never work for free, so it got more and more expensive.
Yep.
And it made more sense for me to come on board as a full-time employee instead of contracting me constantly. So Chris had reached out, and we got to know each other more and more. So
here you are.
Oh, I just killed a family.
Oh no! Live on the podcast.
Started.
Crimes. We're getting crazy. So I will say, Jake, before that, once I told him that you were coming on the podcast, he did say at some point I will have to just like pit maneuver your truck into like the wall or something. So he did say I'm gonna have to try and sabotage. Yeah,
I'd take that from Jake, but like only if he could beat you in a Rocket League 1v1, and we both know he can't. So
he probably could though.
Shut up! You're not supposed to admit. All right, let me take this job. We're gonna take our own truck.
Yep, own truck this time. And let me. Sorry, okay. We got to get situated in. It's gonna be a long haul.
Well, where's your trailer?
It's right here. I gotta turn it around. So this is weird because in my job, I'm not driving a truck this big, but it's just as like I'm not able to see shit sometimes out of my truck when I'm trying to back it up and stuff. The postal truck? Yes, I'm driving and delivering and stuff. I did all Sunday. I just delivered packages and everything. But it was really awkward driving a right-hand side truck all day and then coming into a left-handed side, because I can't tell you how many times I walked to the passenger side of my own car Sunday. Like I was trying to get into the driver's seat because I kept getting out and so.
Man, how are you supposed to turn this bad boy around?
Oh yeah, this one's tough. I got this one stuck one time.
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, we seem like we're free.
All right. So yeah, we got a 14-hour trip. So back to editing. How did you get started doing video editing? Like, have you always been like doing videos and stuff? Because most people that I've talked to that edit videos have been doing it for quite a while. So like, what was your start?
I mean, I feel like most editors, everybody memes around with videos to begin with. Like you kind of make, dumb little videos for you and your friends when you're playing like Minecraft back in the day. I did that occasionally, but my first real like, oh hey, I could do this, as an income source, or I could do this as like an actual living, was I started doing work for a streamer called MoTV,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time he was really into CS:GO, and that was obviously my main game. So, but he was just looking for somebody to do channel management, so like be a mod, manage the VODs, make the editors' lives easier. So
Yep.
what that includes is just like timestamping all the cool stuff that happens,
Yep.
or timestamping like really good games. And I did it, and fun story, I was the only applicant who actually followed the rules and actually submit a valid application.
Oh, so you kind of got it by default.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if I was bad at it, I still got it by default. But yeah, probably a month after that started, they asked me if I had any editing skills, and I was like, yeah, I edit from time to time, and they sent me a sample, and they were like, do you think you can do this? And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. And so I did it, and then I became the main editor after like 2 weeks, and they were like, yeah, you're doing good. The other guy needs to leave for another job, but yeah, good luck. So yeah, I took that, and I actually really enjoyed it. And obviously, the more you do something, the more random stuff you learn. So little tips and tricks here. I learned, oh lordy, oh, we're going off road.
Oh no.
All right, good start.
Yeah, good start to the trucking. So what's some random thing you know about editing? Like, is there some like secret tool, or like what's just off the top of your head?
I'd have to say, oh man, of course I can't remember the name of it too. But there's an effect in Premiere. So I a lot of the time I just deal with like Twitch VODs, obviously, when I started editing. But there is a tool in Premiere, an effect in Premiere that you apply to a clip, and it will stabilize it.
Okay. I think I know what
warp
stabilizer. Yeah.
And I had been doing some IRL footage for Mo, like when he was doing like showing off his new car and stuff, and I was like, man, it's a little shaky. I wish I could clean this up. And I just did some digging on YouTube and stuff and found warp stabilizer. Oh my god, that is a game changer.
It's one of the best little effects, dude. I've used it a couple times.
If you have even remotely shaky hands and want to clean it up at all, it's the best effect. Like, you just slap that on and it looks good as gold for the most part. Obviously, there's times where it just...
Yeah, sometimes it looks kind of clunky.
Yeah, it just doesn't cooperate, but... That's probably, I wouldn't really say there's any like hidden secret to it. It's more so just like the more I had to do it for work, it's just the more I dug and dug, and
it's the more you get to play around with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I've learned some stuff like that. Like recently in Photoshop, I kind of screwed around with the warped perspective. I don't know if it's called warped perspective, but I'm thinking of it. But you can kind of change the perspective of certain objects in Photoshop. And you draw little 2D planes on them, and it's pretty neat. I was kind of screwing around with it today, testing to see what I can do.
It's probably one of the most revolutionary things when you discover it. Because even that's something I discovered as well. Because I've never been a thumbnail guy, and when it came a point where we didn't have a thumbnail artist anymore, and so I just had to make them. And even though they were going to be bad, I had to make them. And again, it's one of those things, the more and more you do,
you get better
at it. Yeah. And dude, as soon as I found that out, to make it look like a background was like coming at you while keeping the your person in the thumbnail, and I was like, holy, like this is sick.
Yeah.
I felt like my Photoshop skills went like 10 levels up that day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing around with it some more just to see what I can get into, but we're just gonna mess around with it.
Is it raining for you?
Yeah, it's raining for me. I'm a bit slidey coming around these corners and stuff. So
it's boring.
Out of all the stuff you've made, what's probably like your favorite project you've ever worked on, or like your favorite piece of content you've ever done?
I like that question. That's a really good question.
Because everybody, like, if you've ever edited anything, everybody has that one thing where you're like, I've actually liked this.
So much blood, sweat, and tears went into it. Oh man, that is really tough. I gotta say the road to the sixth invitational was a lot of fun, and honestly, like, I wouldn't even put it up there as like a very well shot piece because, again, we still are in the COVID era, and it was all digital. But because it was all digital, I thought, it was such a sick project to work on. Not even the video itself, but just being able to, sit down with all the players, give them all their interviews, and it's like just hearing their thoughts on stuff.
Yeah.
And taking that more like interviewer role. It was, super interesting because I didn't really know what to expect from them. And, like some people that I thought were maybe going to be louder than others, like maybe like would talk more in an interview, would end up being the quiet ones.
Yep.
And it's like getting to know those personalities. That's probably so far the best project I worked on.
Well, I'm super excited. This is a leak before it happens, but me and Penguin are trying to schedule him to get on the podcast. He said he was down, so I'm super pumped to talk with him. Like you said,
that'll be sick.
I've heard nothing but good things about those guys, so to be able to get him on and kind of pick his brain on what happened during SI and what was going through their thoughts. What was Eska saying during that Team Liquid game? That's what I want to know probably the most, is what was he saying, dude? That had to have been fun to listen to in comms.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a fun project to watch. I didn't have anything to do with it, but that looked like one of those things where like that would be fun to edit and do.
Yeah, I do wish we got to do more in person for that. Like I had so obviously for people that don't know, because maybe you're not in the Parabellum Discord or whatever, originally I was supposed to go to the sixth invitation. I was supposed to go with them and film some stuff, but obviously Ubisoft had put their foot down because of COVID and all.
Yep.
And we just couldn't send anybody.
Unless they were like direct team members, like a coach and what was it, one sub or whatever, something like you had to be directly tied to the roster.
I think managers couldn't even go and stuff. Like I think it had to be a coach or a manager, like you pick, and no media was allowed. So that was a huge blow to this project, but it still turned out pretty good. Like I just it was fun to come up with the creative process. I think we'll obviously do more in the future, even with like Rocket League and stuff. We want, like, if our team, when we have one, goes to a big event, or even our Siege guys go to another event, we want to do that stuff. And obviously, World's kind of getting back to normal, so slowly getting there.
Yo, Scooter, why is your truck getting all sexually provocative with me?
I don't know. He's kind of wobbling back there.
Yeah. It looks like you're just driving down the road, and it looks like you're just shaking your rump down the interstate.
Have I got a flat or something? Because I noticed
it's doing
the
it.
Whole drive.
It's doing it for me too. I don't know how bad it is, but it's doing it for me too. But it's pretty funny to watch from back here.
Oh my god, dude! I'm just expecting to go through like a really tight turn, and it's just gonna fly off.
Oh, dude, this is the one that you tipped. You tipped with this one last time.
It is the trailer that I always tip with, and it's because I can't estimate how long it is. So I'll take the sharpest corners, thinking I'm
at about
like,
60.
Yeah, doing groceries or some stuff, and then I just take the corner at 60 with a probably 40,000 pound trailer. Like,
oh! Did you see that?
I only saw it in my mirror. I just saw you go into the hard shoulder and then just disappear.
Yeah, I kind of tipped over the thing there.
Man, we're already about 3 hours off this trip.
Yeah, we're making good time. We're making good time. So you kind of already alluded to it earlier, talking about what you played before, but what is your favorite esport to watch, like, and to follow?
You know what? Like, as much as I used to, because like you said, I did allude to it earlier, I wouldn't say CS is up there anymore.
Really?
CS.
What made that change?
It is. I think it just had to be like, COVID kind of killed the CS scene a little bit, and Valorant didn't help it either. I think it'll come back once the LANs fully return. But I don't know. I think there's a big, there's a big community gap between the devs and the community. Like, Valve really doesn't know what they want to do with CS:GO, and they only really do the bare minimum. And so I don't know. I think I gotta say to your question, it might even be like Siege or Rocket League now.
Really? That's interesting. When I
I
wrote that question, I thought I already knew the answer.
I will say Rocket League only if our team's playing. I don't get much kick out of watching other teams at the minute.
Yep.
But I love watching Rocket League when our team plays, and then Siege I'm slowly getting into more, but again, it's more like my work has just become my life, so
yeah,
if
so
we're
it's
not
all
playing,
Siege.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
What about you though? What about your favorite? I assume you're Rocket League still,
yeah,
right?
Rocket League's still up at the top. One of the esports that I used to watch religiously was always Call of Duty.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Call of Duty, and then of course Rocket League was kind of like my main focus. The trailer's just getting crazy.
it's gonna blow over, I swear.
Alright, watch mine once I pass you. It should be, do you see, is mine shaking?
You don't... No, yours is fine. You don't look... And if you are, it's definitely nowhere near as aggressive.
That's weird. But yeah, Rocket League was, I mean, always my favorite, because I think, like, I remember the first moments watching it, like, back when it was its infancy, when it was, two teams. It was Cosmic Aftershock and Kings of Urban, which were like back in 2015 standards were probably what current plats are nowadays, but these guys were like the best in the game. And just watching how insane it got, I think it was, you know, I was immediately hooked on how different it is to every single esport. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely like I think the really interesting thing about esports is like, yes, okay, at the end of the day, it's a game, but watching people like you said, regardless of what the old level was versus the new level, it's that sheer emotion that regardless just makes you want to watch it. Like even old CS:GO was the same way for me. Like you see a player crying on the stage. Did he win? Did he lose? Oh yeah, he lost, but he's crying because he lost. And it's not like
a OT round.
I lost. Yeah, it's like a close game, and it's like a, dude, this is heartbreaking because I just wanted to win, and that's like the thing I love. Like, I don't know, that competitive drive in esports, I feel like it's just not there. And the thing that esports has going for it is the personalities.
Yeah, I think that is a good thing. I think that's what's gonna keep it around longer. Is because like in traditional sports you have, you know, just to think of some names. Oh my god, now as soon as I bring it up I can't think about it. But you know, it is the personalities. You have, you know, the Tom Brady's that are kind of like reserved, but now that he's moved to Tampa Bay, like he's got a personality now all of a sudden to where like he's cracking jokes and doing stupid shit at 40 something years old. And then you got the younger guys that are, you know, like younger basketball players. I think it's the personalities are what keep it relevant to the younger generation. Like case in point right now, I don't know if you follow baseball, but a lot of the younger kids, Vlad Jr. and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Fernando Tatis and all these other younger kids that are like, you know, 20, 22 years old are bringing the younger generation back into baseball because they're fun to watch. They have a personality. And I think that's what hooks all these younger kids onto esports is like there's some personalities here that are fun to follow.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool that you touched on like the traditional sport there, because like it is such a key difference, because what are your chances of meeting a pro basketball player or whatever? Pretty low.
Pretty slim unless you just happen to get really lucky.
Yeah, whereas like esports, you go to an event, at the end of the day, because all of these guys are like us playing games, they're just that good that they can play it at that level.
Yep.
If you treat them like a normal human, they'll be like, oh hey, how's it going? Like, they'll just treat you like a normal human.
That exact
as
thing
like a
happened.
fanboy or...
Yep. That exact thing happened at 2017, I got to go to the RLCS in Washington, D.C. And I literally watched Squishy Muffins hit the most insane shot that I've ever seen. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it was before the ceiling shot and like flip resets and all that other shit was common. He came off the ceiling and like faked that he was gonna hit it and held his flip, shot it, and scored. And literally right after that happened, they ended up losing the series, but I walked out to go get something to drink, and he was just standing there, like, watching the other game be ready to play. And I was like, dude, this guy's literally probably one of the best players in North America, and I just walked right past him and talked with him. And then I had there was one kid and his family was there, and he walked over and they talked Rocket League, and he signed their controller and stuff. Like, he was just the chillest dude ever, but he's literally a god of Rocket League.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before like traditional sports becomes like this, because no, a really good example of somebody adapting to it though is Lando Norris. Somebody taking to Twitch.
That's the F1 driver, right?
Games. Yeah. And like live streaming at the track and stuff. And, you know, he even got called out for streaming at the track. But he was like, look, this is what I do on the side. Like, I just relax. And it's like, this is somebody that understands that social media is really important.
Yep.
And that even once he's done driving, he wants to be remembered.
Yep. And I think a lot of athletes, a lot of the, I would say, like, middle of the pack athletes do that. Like, you won't have anybody big, nobody really to his level, because he's I don't follow F1, but I know I've heard that name before, so I know he's like one of the top drivers. So for him to be doing that is pretty big. But you would see someone like, you know, like Patrick Mahomes streaming games all the time, like in the off season and stuff, or on the event, just because he's so big and popular. So for him to have that following already outside of streaming is gonna keep him around a long time. But I think bigger athletes need to start doing that, because it helps their brand even more in a way. Because I don't know how many fans just think of how many fans pay to wait in line for hours just to get them just for a photo. Could you imagine how well a stream would do just to be able to sit there and just talk with one of your favorite pro players? I think that's why people like it so much.
Exactly. Even like text-to-speech donations and stuff. Somebody will give him $5 to say like, even hi, can you please say my name? And he'll be like, oh, well, hey, thanks.
Yep.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't follow any sports. The only and it's a key example of the only reason I know like Lando Norris is because he's killing the social media game. And it's like, I legit follow no sports, and I know some of these people because of like Neymar Jr.
Yep.
He plays CS:GO all the time, and I see it because his clips, and it's like another example of somebody actually using social media past traditional sports.
Exactly. Well, I think there's a lot of interesting things when it comes to, because you hear Llama talk about that all the time when it comes to social media. Like that is how you brand yourself nowadays. It's the
only way to do it.
That content is king, dude. Like that's what will keep you around. You can be the best, like if Lando Norris gets into a tragic F1 accident and breaks both of his legs, he will still be a very, very popular person because he's streaming and probably doing what he enjoys. You know what I mean? Like, you could have some tragic, career-ending injury and still be able to, your name will still be relevant in a way. Whereas, like, there's some players that once that injury happens, they're done. That they're over. That's their career.
Yeah, they just got to rely on what they've already got in the bank.
Yep. So, and even on the smaller setting, Llama has said it numerous times of, how many players have been able to leverage their content to get more than they probably should, or get what they actually deserve because their content is so banging. Like, it gives them that extra leverage.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, we've seen it countless times and times again. Like, one, like Llama says, know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
And two, don't underestimate your ideas either, because if you're going into something, like if you're proposing to an org or a company or whatever, or a sponsor, you're like, hey, I have this really cool idea, like it's not taken off yet, you know, it doesn't have that many views or whatever, but it will because we're doing this. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, we want it for free because it doesn't have numbers. If you know it's going to be a long haul, but it's going to pay off eventually, don't jump at the first sign of a coin.
Yep.
Look for the stack of them. Like,
Well, I guess speaking of content, I mean, we can kind of touch on the refrag. How did that podcast come about? Like,
so honestly, that podcast was a bit of a like a random thought.
mm-hmm.
We kind of were just like, you know, we Drew and I would message about like random stuff happening in Valorant mostly, and you know, Drew would always be tweeting about the FGC community.
Yep.
And we were just kind of like, you know what, like the Parabellum podcast had obviously been put on hold because Llama was going to do the things that he was going to go do. And it kind of, the Parabellum podcast just kind of died out a little bit.
Yep.
And so Drew and I had said, like, why don't we make our own podcast? And so, yeah, we just decided to kind of do a pilot episode. It was Drew's initial idea to do this. And yeah, we just, you know, started chatting, very casual chat. But as I'd say, probably like the first official episode, we were like, hey, this, you know, this can work. Drew used to be on TV as well. That's sorry, that's probably one of the bigger things that I probably should have said. But yeah, so he used to be on TV, and his personality and like how energetic he is helped a shit ton.
Yep.
And it was just like, you know what, this is such a good idea because we both love esports, and we didn't really feel there was anybody giving all the hot takes. Like, there's in a lot of esports podcasts, there's the very sheep opinion.
Yep.
Where people just, you know, they'll see something on Twitter, they won't give their own take, they'll just show what the community thinks. And Drew and I thought, you know, we're both into esports, we both do all of our work in esports, so why not give our opinions? And you know, if they're bad takes or hot takes, so be it.
Well, I haven't got a chance to listen to all the episodes, but the few that I've listened to, they've always been pretty damn good. They've been it's like the stuff that you guys talk about is interesting because I don't ever because I have like a thing that I follow on my phone that tells me like different things going on in esports, and some of the things that you guys talk about, I'll just open it up and I'll just be like, huh, I did not know that.
And I will say the other big reason we like decided to do it was because I just lost my train of thought completely there. Well, I'll remember it eventually, but no, I mean we decided the refrag was just one of those things where we both really want to do it, and when we talk esports, we have a great time. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. A big part of us doing it too was Drew and I are both in creative positions in esports. It's like we both are making a career out of this, and the reason we decided to do it together was because we want to educate people at the same time to learn about esports on the business side of things. Because there's so many people that say, oh, you know, like Cloud9 just signed this huge contract, but what does it mean? Like, why is Tens getting paid $1 bajillion? Like, and so that's the kind of stuff we wanted to break down. And then on top of that, like any big sponsors that come into the esports scene that we want to explain as well, like 100 Thieves and Gucci. Yeah. We were like, well, why is that such a big deal for esports? And like, you know, people look at it as huge. Gucci. Yeah. But people don't necessarily understand why it's a big deal. And so we want to break stuff like that down and kind of just give people a more, almost like a, I don't know, it's like an idiot take on it, as in like we break it down to the most simple of simple that we don't think anybody does that yet, and I think it's a big thing that people need to do.
Well, I think your podcast is definitely going to be one of those things that, you stick at it, it's going to hit the right thing, because you guys have been doing pretty well numbers wise. It's just, I think the more you guys do it, you build up that base and that audience. It's just going to explode, because the concept is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think it's just about, like you said, hitting that hitting that trend on YouTube.
Yep.
And we just got to overtake some of the big dogs on YouTube. Like, it's, especially the esports news game is not. There's a lot of people in it.
It's always a lot. It's more speculation than anything. Like, it's.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a lot of people that are actually reporting news. I think I don't know their names, but I can think of like a couple channels. But yeah, a lot of people are like, it's mostly speculation of like, this happened on Twitter, so we think this will happen, and then it ends up not being true. But yeah, I guess kind of like speaking on that, the growth and the podcast, like what in esports with it growing, like what are some of your aspirations within esports? Like, do you have any short-term goals or like stretch goals or anything like that?
I think for me, a big goal at the minute is just to really get a bit more creative with content. Like, I want to change the way people look at esports content. I don't want it to be the same old, like, here's a how-to video, here's, our players talking about their game. I want to show the people, this is going to sound like a really dumb sentence, but I want to show the people in people.
That makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Our 6 guys are like an awesome example, and obviously we're getting to do the meet and greet with them this weekend, and they'll be at Wave, so we're obviously going to film content, but I don't want to talk to them about their game. We know what they play, we know who they play. I want to talk to them about who they are. Like, I want to show their personalities. Like, Penguin isn't just a big brain IGL. He's also probably, maybe, from his game day tweets, he likes Pokemon.
Yep.
No, I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I'd assume so.
Yeah, I see every single game he's doing a different Pokemon, or sometimes the same Pokemon GIF.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, I just want to show, make content more bingeable. Like, reality TV is so easy to watch because it's just almost like mind-numbing.
Yeah, because it's just people.
Yeah, I don't want to make any too complicated stuff where we just talk about esports constantly. It needs to be a wider audience for esports.
Yep. Well, I think that's again where, not to go back to different games, but Rocket League kind of has that advantage because it's so easy to follow.
Yeah.
You can kind of get new people in, and then you can very quickly tell who's the good teams and who's the okay teams. So it makes it pretty easy for people to follow along. But yeah, dude, I really wish that I was in Toronto, bro. I think it'd be so cool to just hang out with them, have them, because they're playing their match there, right? Or no?
They are. They're playing they're playing their Nerd Street Gamers tournament there.
Yep.
And they're playing their official match there.
Yeah, for NACL. So you'll get a lot of people will get a lot of insight. That's such an interesting concept to like watch these guys play live. Especially for like not some small league, but smaller than a huge international LAN. That's like going to watch like a baseball game or something. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I think you touched on. I think this was with your podcast with Llama. Like, when you go there too, like from a business side of things, you're networking.
Yep.
And 2, like Llama said, you're all there for the same reasons. So like, even if you don't have many friends in the area, and like, you want more friends in the area that play games or are gamers, you can get them if you go to places like Waves, because everyone's there
for the
to
same
watch
thing.
Those guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're either a fan of Parabellum or you really like Rainbow Six Siege and found out there was an event in Toronto.
Exactly.
Like, so you guys already have kind of like the icebreaker out of the way.
Yeah, 100%. And it's I wish more people would be like that, because even when we do have watch parties, like I'll try and talk to everybody. And there's obviously a lot of people who do get shy at watch parties, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, you're here for the same reason as we are, you know? Come talk to us.
Yep.
No, nobody bites. Nobody, you know, like we're all here to talk to people. So,
I mean, we had that happen during SI. We had a couple of Parabellum fans join our Discord call, and I remember at least one of them said that they thought that we were all gonna have an ego, and I was just like, we're literally a small organization. Like, why would we have an ego? But
yeah, it's like we're all
yeah, like
watching these guys in Paris,
dude. Like, we've never experienced this, dude. It's like, I don't know. I just try to compare it to sports because I watch sports so much, but it's like you own a piece of the Red Sox and you're watching them play in the World Series. Like, everything just means so much more because you're like, you've worked hard to like build, not necessarily that Rainbow Six team, but the organization as a whole. So to see it be represented, you're just like, dude, this is amazing. It's definitely a different feeling that whole week.
Oh, 100%. And I really hope, you know, there's many more to come, because whether it is Rocket League, whether it's Siege, whether it's a completely new game, I just can't wait.
Yep,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Feeling. Yeah, and it's that feeling of being in like you said, in a group call with you, with like any of our friends from Parabellum, with Llama, with Jacor, with Comp when he comes in there, or whoever joins is obviously a fan or knows Parabellum.
Yep.
And it's such a different feeling when you're sitting there, you all love the same team, you're all rooting for the same team, and you're all just going off of each other's energy. It's the best feeling in the world. It
was great. Were you with us when we beat G2? Were you in that call with us or no?
I was, yeah.
Dude, that was insane.
I was doing the socials.
Yeah, that was, dude. We got up at like 4 a.m. to watch that game. Some people stayed up all night because it happened so early on Paris time.
Yep.
That was such a fun.
Yeah, because that's when it got delayed, because it was supposed to happen the night before.
Yep.
Really late.
And it got delayed into like 11 a.m. their time, so it was like 3, 4 in the morning for us. It's like, geez.
Yeah, that was the one day, you know, because it sucked because we won that game too, and then I had to stay up all day for the match at night too.
Yep.
Because we played Liquid the same day.
That was a rough one, bro.
How's your trucking going?
I'm almost there. How far are you behind?
I'm about 3 hours. I had stopped for gas.
Oh, so. Okay. Yeah, I'm 11 minutes away. So.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. So this question just came in. Who's your favorite person from Georgia to do a podcast with?
I think it's got to be Noobsy.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. He's a pretty good guy.
He's a pretty good guy. I mean, I've seen him, you know, tase some random people in the streets, but
hey, we don't talk about that. Did you see what I said afterwards?
No, I don't remember.
You'll just have to watch it again because it's pretty dicey.
Dude, those videos are fucking awesome. I gotta give it to you. Like, when I saw you post that, I was like, man, how fun can that game be to watch?
Dude,
and I was like, mind instantly changed. That's probably one of the funniest games to watch somebody play, because just all the dumb stuff, or even like your newest episode, spoilers if anybody hasn't seen it, but when you were looking for the wanted person and it was the identical model just with sunglasses and it was the perfect crime, and I was like, dude, what the hell?
Dude, in between, I was laughing so hard during that because I was just like, why? Or there was another one where I was looking for the person and I pulled over a car and the lady was literally right by the vehicle that I was pulled over. I get in the car and I'm like, oh, there she is.
Oh, man.
But no, it's fun. And they, the fact that they're so, they're always updating that game. Like, they're always adding new stuff or hot fixes, so it's always like it's gonna keep the game fresh. And I've looked at the roadmap, of like what they intend on doing, and I think I'm just gonna keep posting more episodes, even if they don't put out new content like every week, every other week. It's just fun to play because, like you said, that dumb shit happens. I think that's why I like the simulator games so much, like playing Farming Simulator and stuff, because you make the game as fun as you can make it in a way.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're 100% right there. Because, like, even Trucking Simulator, if you had told me a year ago that me and the Parabellum boys were going to be, like, dropping, like, 30 hours into Trucking Simulator, I probably would have told you you're lying.
Because, like, it's just one of those things, like, it should not be fun, but we were delivering a harvester at 95 miles an hour in a Grand Tour race-style format. It's just... It's a blast, and all the dumb shit that happened, especially when that night that we had like 7 of us in here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
That shit got insane. You were here the day that Llama hit that sign and flew off the highway. You guys may have been in front of him, but I was behind him. I wish I wish I was
there, but I
recording,
think
because
I
that
was
was
behind,
like
yeah.
that was like driving through a damn wreck at Daytona 500. There was cars and carnage, and it was everywhere. I gotta get gas. Let's see. I'm trying to think, because I've technically ran out of questions, but I know there's some other stuff that I want to ask.
All good. Ask away.
So you said you wanted to do more with showing the personality side of esports. Oh no, actually, we're gonna backtrack. So, did you watch ESL Cologne at all?
I watched a little bit here and there. I was glad to see Navi won.
Yep. So, do you was that first time Simple has won like a major?
So, okay, so we were talking about this on Refrag. It's actually funny because Cologne this year was not a major.
Interesting.
So that's the weird thing with CSGO. We have events that will occasionally be majors and occasionally not be majors. ESL Cologne this year was not a major, so Simple has still not won a single major.
That's crazy.
And it just blew, like, I told that to Drew and it blew his mind because...
Well, when you think of ESL Cologne, that's where all like the craziest shit happens. Like, I never even really followed CSGO, but is that not like the place where most of the craziest clips and plays and wins and upsets ever happened?
Yeah, it's worth, honestly, it's some of the birthplace of Counter-Strike. Like, it's one of the original tournaments. Like, it's one of the most original stages. But it was a major up until I think 2017, and then they had one in 2018. Or sorry, no, I think 2016, and then they had one in 2018, and then never again since.
That is crazy.
Same with Katowice. It's not a major this year, which it's so weird because those are some traditional stages.
That is pretty crazy. How far away are you from your mission point?
I'm an hour away.
Okay.
So
Well,
we're
good.
kind of cruising.
Well, good. You hit the spot. So, you've had a lot of time to think about this. You already know what question is coming. Do you have an idea of what it could be?
Is this the advice question?
It
My
is,
favorite
dude.
question?
It is, dude. Okay, so we're gonna ask it right here. I didn't ask this to Robbie because no one cares what he thinks, but I have asked it to every other guest since then. So, what is the best piece of advice you've ever got, and who did it come from?
So, the best bit of advice, I think, is it didn't really come from anybody in particularly. It just kind of got spread throughout like social medias and stuff when I was kind of just getting into esports, and it was that to never work for free, and like that exposure doesn't pay, because that is a big thing. Like, I've noticed, and I get it, sometimes you do, like, exposure is good, but I also noticed that, you know, at the end of the day, if you're like putting 20 hours into something and all you're getting is a pat on the back and a tweet, then it's probably not worth your time.
Yep.
You have a skill set that somebody wants, and if they can't afford it, then they can't afford it. So I definitely think it's knowing your worth, like kind of what Llama touched on in previous episodes.
I feel like the more people I bring off of Parabellum, it's just they're gonna say something like that about Llama.
It's the Llama words of wisdom.
Yep.
I mean, if I had to go with another bit of advice, because that's kind of regurgitated social media stuff, but I'd probably go with what we touched on earlier. If you want to get into esports, and this is something that I learned myself, so it's not really given, but yeah, just be yourself around players. Like, if you really want to work in esports, there's nothing wrong with being a fanboy or a fangirl, but if you want to get into it and build like connections, so networking, just be yourself. Pretend you're talking to a random new friend at school, or like, at work or whatever.
Yep.
Because that's what worked for me. I got to know some really important people in CS:GO, and it led me to know the people I know now. And yeah, I just essentially chilled out with them. At the time, I had my dirty habit of smoking, and I was, had a smoke outside and just chatted away. And it's like, I don't want to fanboy over you, so I'm just going to talk to you like as if you were a normal person.
A normal person.
Yeah. And it really does it gets you pretty far, because, people remember you for having a chill conversation, not oh, hey, I know you just finished a stressful match, but can you sign this?
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess it's leaving that impression on people. Like, you only get one chance to impress somebody. Fanboying might not be the best one if you want to get into esports.
Yep. Well,
alrighty, I arrived at the job. I parked the trailer.
You have parked it, so it's done. That's it. That was exactly a 1 hour drive.
That did not feel like a 14-hour in-game drive, though.
No, that was pretty short.
I even stopped for gas. That's how short that felt.
That was a pretty fun one, though. Not much craziness happens. I think it only gets crazy when we add people like Shrads and J-Core and Llama in here. Then it starts getting a little dicey.
I feel like Llama might be the real problem driver. Look at that. We've just got an hour documented video
of no accidents, no yeah. So it can happen. I think when Llama gets in here, we all get a little too complacent, too safe, and we just want to like pit maneuver everybody. And because we need some carnage in our life.
Exactly.
So well, that was it. So thank you very much, Scooter, for being on the podcast. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
I enjoyed myself, dude. Well, good luck. There's gonna be some fun things coming. Let me know about what the R6 boys are like in real life, because I'm super jealous that you guys are all up in Toronto and get to go hang out up there. So
it's all right. We'll get you to Toronto soon, or we'll all come down to the States. We'll have a Parabellum meetup soon.
That's gonna be lit, as long as your government lets people out of the country.
Yeah, that'll be the first step in stone.
Well, like I said, always a pleasure, Scooter. I had a great time. So that was the podcast. That was the episode. So I will see you later.